Joining me now, Gerald Panneton. He is Chair and CEO of Gold Terra Resource. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
So you're drilling near Yellowknife. The main focus is the Con Mine, which is fascinating to know that produced between 1938 and 2003. So can you give us a snapshot of what you're doing?
Well, it's an asset in a city where infrastructures. So the idea before we decided to option the Con Mine from Newmont was a similarity with Detour Gold. So when I started Detour, I was buying the Detour Lake asset. So the parallel between the Con Mine and the Detour Lake asset is mining lease, surface rights, infrastructure, some infrastructure. And the Con Mine, you're right in town. So you have 20,000 people. Everybody goes home at night. You can go to the Starbucks before you go to the drill in 10, 15 minutes. So there's a lot of advantage when you are settled in infrastructure for cost of drilling, cost of building a mine, cost of operating a mine.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now you're doing so-called wedge drilling under previous workings, and the team thinks that there could be a large underexplored area. Could you explain
Sure,
wedge drilling?
Well, the wedge drilling is interesting. It's a good question for the non-technical people. But I want to say that in the first pass of the drilling we've done, we focus on surface. And we outline about over 500,000 ounces near surface, which give us about 5 to 6 years of operation. But if you want to build a mine, how much costs a mine? So if the mine costs, say, $200 million, and you need to find 2 million ounces, so the cost depreciated is $100 an ounce. So our target is to get to 2 million ounces to have a threshold to purchase the mine from Newmont. So we started at surface, and now the next target that we have, which is a big target, 1 to 2 million ounces below the mine. So the mine has a service shaft all the way down to 1,900 meters, and we're drilling underneath. Our first hole in 2023 was successful, showing that the zone keeps going at depth. Last year, we started a master hole from which we go all the way to 3,000 meters. From that master hole, wedging is like branching off. So wedging is kind of a technical term, but for the non-technical people, it's like using a trunk and branching off. Okay. So the branching occurs at 2,000 meters. So the first 2,000 meters has already been drilled. We don't need to re-drill that. Every time we want to cut, we use wedging to cut from the master hole and get multiple intersections.
All right, fascinating. We learned something. All right, so you did a $3 million financing, but you say that financing, I guess not surprisingly, can be kind of tricky in this market. So how would you describe conditions right now and the support from the market?
The support I got was mainly from shareholders, existing shareholders that believe in the story, but to get fresh new blood, fresh new money, it's been very challenging. I would say that the money supply in our industry is a big problem. It's like being on a sailboat with no wind, right? You're stuck. You're advancing very, very, very slowly. Yeah. Look, I've built a mine, Detour Gold, from IPO to gold production in 6 years. And I've been working on Gold Terra for 5. And I'm not at that point of saying that we're going to have a mine next year. No, it's going to take another 3-4 years. And the money supply is very important to advance your project towards production. And if you don't have, like when you do a feasibility study, you need drilling. You need a lot of drilling to prove up your resource and your reserve. So it takes time.
Now, the option agreement you have with Newmont, you've extended from 4 years to 6 years out to 2027.
Correct.
Gives you some more flexibility there. So how would you describe the nature of the agreement with Newmont and the benefits that you have working with a company like that?
Well, Newmont's objective in that deal is get rid of the liability of a mine that is closed. Because the mine is very small, it's not a Newmont target, but it's a Newmont liability. So I deal with the legacy group and the land and the people. So what we want to do is get the mine off their book. So they're very supportive because we're maybe the only answer for that. The project and the deal is built around making sure that if we buy the property from Newmont, they won't get it back. So that's why we have a threshold of 1.5 million ounces. So if I find 1.5 million ounces, I can take the liability off their book and not impose it on my shareholders like without any base for value. But the mine comes with $150 million of infrastructures. When you look on our presentation on the website, you can see the value. Roads, power line, ditches. There's also a pond where we accumulate the dirty water. We have a treatment plant for the water. We also have office and everything. All in, you're looking at this, it would cost $150 million to build that. So when I give them $8 million Canadian, I end up with $200 million of value. It's a good start for the next mine.
Right. Now, you said, Gerald, just to wrap it up here, that the larger players are watching your company. So ultimately, what would you say the end game is?
The end game is de-risking the project. So in my mind, when you're a junior company, your job is to find gold and then all the way to production if need to be. If somebody wants to buy the company because they like it and they're watching you, my job is to create shareholder value. My job is not to put in production, but I can do it because I've done it 3 times. So I can go all the way there. But my job is to make sure the shareholder will make money. And I'm one of them, so I'm happy to.
Right. All right. Thanks, Gerald. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
I enjoyed that. Gerald Panneton, Chair and CEO at Terra Resource.